So let's go to our example. So in this place, we're first going to import use reducer. Then after that, we'll say const, since we want to deal with initial score, const initial score equals to, then inside it, we're going to create an object. And inside this object, we'll say, okay, we want our ID to be 1. We want our score to be 0. We want our name to be Do. And as well, after that, we're also going to create another object. And this other object will be ID, which will be 2. We also want our score to be 0 as well. And we want our name to be James. Then after that, we'll come here and we'll create a function for reducer. We'll say const reducer equals to, we'll say state and action. And inside this state and action, we'll have an arrow function, which we say that. So we want to make use of the switch, and inside this switch, we'll say action.type, then inside it, then inside it, we'll say case. If there is an increment, increase. We'll say case, increase. And inside this increase, return state dot map. And inside this state dot map, we have a player. And inside this player, we are going to create an arrow function as well, which we will say if player dot ID is equals to action dot ID, you return player, and also the score should be player dot score plus 1. So else we'll say return player. That's for that. After that, we'll come here and we'll say default, and inside this default, we'll say return state valid. So we'll come outside this function and we'll create another function for score, function score. So inside this function score, we'll say const score, and then we'll say dispatch equals to use reducer. Inside use reducer, we'll say reducer, comma, initial score. Then after that, we'll say const handle increase equals to, inside it, we'll say player. We're creating an arrow function for it too. And inside this arrow function, we'll say dispatch. Inside dispatch, we want our type to be increase. And we also want our ID to be player dot ID. Then we'll come out of that and we'll say return. Inside this return, we'll create a div, and inside this div, we'll create a style. Style equals to margin should be 15 pixel. Padding should be 15 pixel. This is supposed to be an object as well. I don't know how it changed to margin 15 pixel, padding 15 pixel, border should be 1px solid black. And we'll say border radius, which can be like 8 pixel. Then that's outside the div. And in the div, we'll have H2. In this H2, we'll say scoreboard. And inside this scoreboard, after that, we'll come here. We'll say, after that, we'll come here and we'll say score dot map. Inside score dot map, we'll say player, we'll create another arrow function. And inside this arrow function, we'll say div, we'll have a div. And inside this div, we'll say key equals to player dot ID. And we want the style equals to margin should be 10px and 0. Then we also want 10px and 0. Then after that, we'll create a button. Then inside the div, we'll create a button. The button will be, inside this button, we'll say on click. Inside on click equals to handle change. Inside on click, we would have an arrow function again, which would be undo increase equals to play. Yeah. Then as well, we would have a style. We'll style it. Style equals to, we want the padding to be 8 pixel and 16 pixel. 16 pixel. We want the margin right to be 10 pixel. 10 pixel. We also want the background color to be 4CAF50. I want the color to be white. Hold Shift F so you can format it first. Yes, color to be white. Then we want our border to be none. We as well want our border radius should be around 8 pixel, and cursor should be pointer. After this button, we'll say span. Then inside span, we want the style. We want the style to be equals to font size, which is 1.2 EM. Then we'll just say font weight, which should be bold. And we'll say score to be player score. Now let's export it. Let's bring it. Let's call it inside here. We'll say score. We want to call in the score that we had here. I hope you get that. Now let's check our results. Okay, so as you can see, we already have a scoreboard, which is telling us scoreboard. We have 2 players. We have John, as you can see, increased by 1, and James too is also increasing. So that is what use reducer hook is for. I hope you understand. Thank you for watching this video. Please do well to follow us across all socials at Techisready Academy. See you next time. Bye.